The consensus is for employers to have added 150,000 jobs and for the unemployment rate to have held steady at a four-year low of 7.7%. On Wall Street, investors took a breather after the market's best day in nearly a year. The Dow fell 21 points while the Nasdaq slipped 11.
CBS Money Watch correspondent Alexis Christoforous. So while jobless numbers seem to indicate the economy and job hunting is doing decently or better, there are so many people out there looking for jobs. Chris Burkhard is president of the CBI Group in Newark, a human resources firm that works to place workers in often temporary, shorter-term jobs. And Chris, I think that's an interesting perspective because I'm guessing more and more people are finding use for those kind of placements when the other option is total unemployment, that these types of jobs are fitting the needs of more and more folks. What, in your experience, is going on with the jobs market here locally as we enter 2013?
Well, Peter, I think the job market is improving. I think there are opportunities. I think as long as workers are open to thinking about employment differently, I think there's lots of opportunities. So I think if folks are looking at opportunities to consider temporary work, if they're interested in thinking about freelance work, if they're interested in thinking about what it's like to be an independent contractor, and I do think that traditional employment is improving. So there's lots of opportunities that people think about work differently.
And the reason for that, in part, is gone in many cases are the days of the 2 or 3 decades at a single employer, and more of a every man for himself scenario out there, Chris. So this patchwork of jobs for many is the next logical way to look at things.
I think if you imagine your favorite Western movie, if you will, perhaps Clint Eastwood riding in on his horse, and you think about the jobs that you might have seen in that Wild West town, saloon owners, general store owners, of course the undertaker. In all those circumstances, there wasn't the big company, there wasn't the Standard Oil or the Vanderbilt yet, there wasn't the big company to go work at, and people had one thing in common: they were responsible for their own careers. And I think it's interesting to look to history because I think we can learn something about today. I think we find ourselves today where, if we think about it, people are simply more responsible for their own careers today, and we can learn something from that. Not that there aren't great companies to go work for, but I think those companies would encourage all of us to be a little bit more responsible for our own careers today and take responsibility for them.
Another thing, Chris, I heard this today in a report actually we had this morning here on WDEL, a CBS business report, talking to the fact that a lot of college graduates now are ending up in receptionist roles and such, while some fields, higher tech fields, are going wanting for potential employees. And it offers up a unique opportunity for people to take a look at maybe some of those fringe skills that they have that might apply to some of these fields that are actually hurting for potential workers.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting started in your field in an entry-level capacity to work into things. There's nothing wrong with starting anywhere to get to where you need to get. I think many success stories begin with starting in a mailroom or starting at a front desk or a switchboard, learning the job, the industry, the field, learning every facet of it and working forward. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think few people are kind of willing to put their time in and do things that way, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
CBI Group in Newark is the firm. Chris Burkhard is president, and I know you guys are involved with Placers as well. That's the temporary worker agency that I know is growing not only in Delaware but all over the nation. So check out CBI Group. What's your email? I'm sorry, your website, Chris, if people want to check out more information.
www.thecbigroup.com or www.myplacers.com.
All right, Chris Burkhard, thanks so much for joining us, and an interesting look at the unemployment picture and the potential jobs opening picture in Delaware here in 2013.